Are you getting a bit tired of that 3-inch spare tire around your waist?
I sure am.
Are you becoming increasingly lazy fat? I'd like to show you that we're all in need of exercise. Now is the time to get started so that we can enjoy the health and psychological benefits for the rest of our lives. I'm assuming that none of you will argue that exercise is harmful. You'll agree that exercise is beneficial. However, I'm not so sure all of us are actually exercising. I'd like to tell you then, not how to exercise this, but to persuade you to go out and get some exercise. First, I'd like to tell you why I'm so concerned about our inactivity. Lack of exercise is harmful to our health. And cardiovascular disease, the nation's leading cause of death, is caused by inactivity. So excess fat is also caused by inactivity, and it leads to a higher incidence of heart disease. Statistically then, you will die at an earlier age if you do not exercise. Now, some of you might be wondering why I'm preaching to a bunch of soldiers who are supposed to be in good shape. But soldiers are not as healthy as we are often led to believe. Future soldiers are in better health than we are. We are on the threshold of decline as our level of activity drops. This change is correlated with the changes in our lifestyles that occur between basic training and actual active duty. Most of us have less time to run around because we are usually at work and we're more worried about administration stuff than actual physical performance. Many of us have less time to run around because, like I said, we're way more worried about actual administration stuff than our performance. Many of us have given up the sports we used to play competitively before we joined the Army, and because we just have no time here. We're just always at work. And now that we have less motivation to exercise, ironically, we're supposed to exercise, but we really don't. The point here is that exercise for us must come from within, but statistically that hasn't been happening. The point becomes increasingly significant as we realize that this stage in our lives is a primary force in determining our future behavior. Our inactivity now may lead to inactivity later. Our choices in brand of beer will be carried on through the coming years. After being in for many years in service, the belly will begin to show. By being inactive now, we are getting ourselves into a rut of being inactive. And this rut can be avoided, but it's difficult. Because when you work out after work, make sure you take advantage when you're not out on mission, because that's pretty much the only time we have to work. And I've shown you that by not exercising, we're decreasing our lifespans. And a fair question to ask here is that, what's so great about exercise? If it's such a pain in the ass, it's not worth living a few more years. But reality is that it really isn't such a pain. Exercise is not a large investment, but the yield is very high. We should all exercise to take advantage of this. And to exercise, you don't have to lift weights for hours on end or join the wrestling team. Exercise can take as little as 20 minutes a day. Like, for example, our physical training test for the military, you just have to run 15 minutes and run 2 miles in 15 minutes. So if you exercise, let's say you run for 20 minutes a day, you're actually overachieving in the actual training test. So actually, that's all it takes is 20 minutes. And one advantage of being healthy is that your body needs less sleep, and this may more than make up for the time it takes to exercise. And that's common sense, because if you work out for 20 minutes and you need less sleep, then obviously those extra 20 minutes you stay awake, you'll just make up for it during working out. It's just a little bit of hard work and you need a little more motivation, but it'll pay off in the long run. And studies also show that exercise clears your thoughts so that you can be more efficient. Like when you're stressed about work, going home to family can be less stressful if you work out and you clear your thoughts when you work out. And also you'll feel better. When working during work, when walking at work from one point to another, you won't be as winded at the end when you walk. Because some people, sometimes you walk around and you see people that are a little overweight and they're like, oh, I'm not walking, that's too far, I think I'll get tired. And by exercising, you can avoid that stuff. And also, you won't get as sick as easily since exercise increases the body's resistance. More important, however, are the effects on your body you don't feel. Increasing your cardiovascular strength increases your heart stroke efficiency. And researchers at San Diego State actually have found that increases in exercise slow the onset of senility. If none of these facts impress you, keep in mind that exercise might make us look better, And this might make the girls take a little more notice of us, for those of you single men out there. And married, I mean, however the ball rolls. Just as one of us wants to be called a fat slob by our mothers, none of us wants to die earlier than we should. So we should all get into the habit of exercising regularly right now. If all of us now begin a routine of staying in shape, keep in mind that it will make us healthier, give us a better state of mind and body, and we can make the future years of our lives more rewarding. So why wait for tomorrow when you could just start today?